So last thing, man, as we close up shop, COTY wrapped up about 30 minutes ago. If you haven't seen it, Big K is your champion of the year for 2023. New Jersey Twerk finished second. Shout out to Chef Trez, had an amazing year. He finished third. You yourself finished 10. I know you were watching the proceedings before the show started, so I'll give you the floor to kind of talk about how you feel about your year, where you ranked, and the overall, I guess, top three, if you will.
Yeah, I've said it a couple times on different podcasts. Champion of the year is an unsolvable math problem. It really is. There's not a real answer to champion of the year. It's a bunch of people looking at a bunch of different resumes on different leagues from different types of battlers and judging 7 or 8 different subjective categories, trying to remove emotion and trying to remove bias. And then comparing them side by side, and it's really just there's no real science to it. There's no real this is what it is type thing. So lately in my last couple of years, I've been able to kind of look at it from that standpoint, because it really kind of drove me a little bit crazy there the first few years. Really took a lot of things personal. I'm pleased with every year with the work that Jay Black puts in. Man, like he could just be like, nah, I'm cool, and just be Jay Black. You know what I mean? I don't, it's like he does this for us, for the culture. He every year it seems like he's implementing new changes and new, hey, now we have this champion gold thing. We have these guys that I know, I trust, and I walk through the whole year with, that I know watch battles and study battles and different things like that. I think that's really cool. It was good to see that the panel, had kind of been shrunk down. It was good to see a couple people not on the panel, and it was good to see a battle rapper on the panel this year, with Chilla Jones stepping in and giving his insight from a battle rapper standpoint. I thought that my own personal, opinion, I thought that, Big K and New Jersey Twerk both had, a good case to win champion of the year, and they both ended up in the top 2. So, when I say it's an unsolvable math problem, they got the 2 guys up at the top, that I thought, deserved to be up at the top, and then with my own personal placement, I tweeted it out. I thought I should have been anywhere from 5 to 7. I would have been fine, with 7. So for them to be kind of three spots behind at 10, I'm not completely irate, like the one year that I was started at 7 and then got shoved back to 20. I'm not irate. I do look at least 2 guys that in front of me. I look at their resume and what they did this year, and I just say, how? Like how? It's kind of wild to me. So I would have put myself above Ill Will, Real Sick, and Easy to Block Captain. So I would have had myself at 7, and then had probably Easy, Ill Will, and Real Sick to round out the top 10. But yeah, and then you got Tay Rock, Geechee, Chef Trez, Big K, and Twerk. I don't remember exactly what the order was, but those guys I think were a solid top 5. But yeah, a shout out to Smo. Is that his name? Just J Mo.
J Schmo, Tito,
Tito
Chilla.
So I believe,
So
from what I understand, Tito is the number 1 donator, right? So whoever donates the most money to the pot gets a spot on the panel.
I didn't catch the whole thing, right? Like I was kind of busy with work, and they started doing my work day. So I don't know if that was the case. I would assume that he still does that. That Jay Black still does that. But Tito is also a part of the Champion Gold. He's in the executive suite.
Okay, cool.
He's in the spaces all the time talking about battles. He's out. He's going to events, so on and so forth. So he's,
and that's the one thing I just like, man. When these guys say, "Oh, but he lost 2, or he did this, or he did that," it makes it a little easier for me to hear that when I know the guys are trying to be in the building, that are watching all the battles, that are,
for sure,
highly invested in that kind of stuff,
for sure.
because then I can at least say, look, at least you know your shit. No, excuse my French, but at least you know your stuff, like some people that just want to just jump out the window and, whatever, that's when you're just like, are you kidding me? But yeah, so shout out to them. And Mark was on this panel again this year.
And Chilla.
And yeah, and like I said, every year it just seems to be getting a little bit better. I love seeing the champion magazines in the backdrop. I love, the graphics and stuff popping up. I was able to win moment of the year, which was really dope. And yeah, I thought Chilla did a great job as well. I disagree with a handful of things Chilla said too. So I promise you, don't think that us battle rappers believe that battle rappers know everything more, because Chilla was kind of in there, had me looking like, oh, you didn't say that to me. You know what I mean? I talked to you the day of the battle. I mean, Frack didn't win that battle clearly back then. What you mean now? You know what I mean? So there was a couple instances, but shout out to my guy Chilla. I don't know if they still have the donation link up, but please go donate. Big K is very deserving. And like I said, I mentioned it on Twitter. Big K, Rum Nitty, and Geechee Gotti, all have won champion of the year they battled me. So, and Real Sick, he went from, not mentioned at all to top 10 just off battling me. So, if you want the world to pay attention to what you're doing in battle rap, get a league to send me a deposit, because I'm not declining it.
So real quick, I want to on the Chilla thing. Do you think that battle rappers sometimes may sugarcoat their responses to their friends in the moment as like a little bit of an ego boost?
Yes. However, I also think too that there's an element of not appearing very biased while you're on the panel. You know what I mean? Everybody knows that me and Chilla, like, we're close. We're a Drosy gang. We just put a whole song out. You know what I mean? Like that. So you also don't want to, people give France a hard time because he's so A-word biased. You know what I mean? And I think there's a level of I'm not even gonna try to talk about this, because I don't want to come across as that's my guy. You know what I mean? And then there is bro, I had you winning, or it was a lot closer. But there's also a way that we think as battlers, right? Especially like a guy named Chilla and myself, where we think like of written material and different things, and we hold that in a higher regard. But the general consensus of the world might not think that. I think back to when I battled DNA. And the general consensus would have DNA beating me at Blackout. And however, when I talk to a lot of battle rappers, they're like, I ain't gonna lie, I had you winning it. You know what I mean? So without having to explain the context of all of that kind of stuff, I think, him being like, yeah, okay, he lost to Frack, he lost to this, he lost to that, or whatever. It's easier to kind of say without saying, to be honest with you, So.
Okay. So last thing, and this is the final thing. So I just saw a tweet, shout out to the Dungeon Game, a group chat, battle rap group chat that we are in. Tay Rock said that this is his last year. Do you think that to be true? Do you think this is going to be his last year battle?
No, it's nobody's last year battling ever. I'm pretty sure Emerson Kennedy just did a whole battle rap farewell tour, and he's all battling this year. Like, get out of here. I'm pretty sure Marv's been telling me he's been retiring for 3 years, and he's definitely going to end up battling. You know what I mean? It's nobody ever retires from battle rap. You know who retired from battle rap the best?
Who's that?
100 Bullets. 100 Bullets retired from battle rap. He didn't battle. He battled Real Deal when I battled Franchise, right? After that, I don't think he battled for maybe a couple years. Then he did a battle against Prehistoric maybe in 2019. And then he just bounced. He bounced for 5 years. He didn't say nothing. He didn't make an announcement. He didn't come out and say this whatever. Now mind you, he might be, but he just bounced. And then, he does a comeback battle against me, but like, it was quiet for 100 Bullets, 5 years. He could have been getting any kind of small plates around anywhere. He could have been getting, some King of the Dot looks and stuff like that, but he just bounced. People that say this is my last year, they're just saying it because they want you to say, no, but or they're trying to send a message to something to say, I feel disrespected, or book me now, or whatever, So no, I don't believe this is Tay Rock's last year. Listen, Tay Rock is still one of the best battlers in the world. He's still competing at a high level, and he's still getting paid very, very well. Who's doing that? Who's doing that? Barry Sanders? That's the only one. Barry Sanders is doing that. He's retiring. Calvin Johnson. He's retiring in the middle of, but not Tay-Rock.
And Jonah.
But I think Jonah had some physical ailments as well, from what I gathered.
Okay, or I'll go Joe. Joe didn't reach quite the same heights, but Joe retired.
Joe never started. Joe's like the kid that quit. Like Joe's like when you go get a job and you're in training for like 2 months, and then you get out and then you work like a couple of shifts and then you quit. Like that's what Joe did. Like he was in training for a little while and then boom.
All right, man.
Well, Gluezy might have really retired. Gluezy really might have retired, honestly.
No, well, that's not true. I was going to say, who really retired is R Streets, but I think R Streets, he might have finally got the T-Top battle. I had to go look it up and see if it's on YouTube. But after the whole incident with T-Top and not having a third round at home, he literally disappeared for like 4 years. And then like he popped up and battled on some league in Carolina. And like I said, I think he might have finally got the T-Top battle. So we can play this who really retired game for a little bit. But yeah. By the way, Emerson Kennedy, man, I was emotionally invested in your retirement. Like the trade, like you had the ability to put together all of this dope footage. Yeah, man, this is, what it would be like if I get 6 battles against some of the best battle rappers in the world. This is my story. I mean, he's got the dramatic music. And I'm like, I'm here. And he just battled like this year, right? He battled. Who did he battle on King of the Dot with or was it the Standing on Business bar? The Godzilla, I really stand on business. Who was that against?
I don't know.
Was that King of the Dot?
Pepe was last year.
He had a bar by somebody standing on business, and I don't think it was Twerk. But either way, that was after you should have retired, EK. Anyway. All right, man. That's our time, man. Thank you for tuning in to It's a Black and White Thing. Remember, you can check out every episode of It's a Black and White Thing by going to the podcast app of your choice, choosing It's a Black and White Thing, rate, review, subscribe. You can also search Brains and Bars to find the show. You can find us on YouTube every Tuesday-ish by going to It's a Black and White Thing on YouTube. Rate, review, subscribe, comment, share, whether it be the podcast or the audio visual form of this so we can spread the word. You can follow us on social media by going to @BrainsandBars on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And until next time, it's been a Black.
And nobody mentioned Taylor Swift in 1 hour and 15 minutes. White thing.
Speaking of white, yeah, I'm trying to think. Now you threw me off. I was about to say something else, but I don't remember. All right, man. I'll let y'all next week. Y'all be easy.